was born on April 21st, 1943, in Baltimore City. My family, growing up, we were Orthodox. We kept a traditional home, and my mother had separate plates for meat and dairy, and we had Shabbat dinner every Friday night. My mother would always make a traditional dinner. Being Jewish was just something that we took for granted. I never even thought about it. All of my friends were Jewish. My neighborhood in Park Heights was all Jewish, and all the families on the street were very close. And we would just all hang out. We would go to each other's houses for dinner. It was a really nice, easy, good life growing up in Baltimore. After school, my friends and I would go across the street to the Isaac Davidson Hebrew School, and we learned Jewish songs, and we learned about the Jewish holidays, and everything was in Hebrew. And we also went to the JEA, which was the precursor to the JCC that you have today. It used to be called the JEA. And we had after-school activities. And I had a bat mitzvah there with 6 or 7 other girls that went to.
As you began growing up, did you feel that your Judaism became more active as a Jew, or did you feel like your Judaism began to stray?
Well, I think that when I was old enough, I guess over 16, and the girls and boys started dating, I think as we started to go out on Friday night, I recall that I didn't stay home for Shabbat dinner that much anymore. And I remember that most of my friends and I, if we did stay home, we would have a quick dinner, and then we would go out to see a movie. But my grandparents on my mother's side, who lived right near us, really did not like that I went out Friday night. And she would always urge me to be a more traditional Jewish woman. And she would always try and remind me of her Jewish values. And she spoke Yiddish. She always tried to teach me Yiddish words, and she would call me a Shana Meidela and all of that. But I think that as I started to go out, that's when I stopped observing Shabbat.
Rooted community. 50% of the Jews in Baltimore have lived in Baltimore their whole lives. 70% of the Jewish people who live in Baltimore have lived in Baltimore for 20 years or longer.
So it seems that growing up in Baltimore was very easy as a Jew because most of your friends were Jewish, and you felt that being Jewish was part of your culture, although you didn't necessarily feel like you needed to go to shul or celebrate all the holidays just the way your great-grandmother did. But was there any times that you can remember where you definitely feel like your grandmother or grandfather looked down on you as part of the Jewish community?
Yes, I absolutely can. On my father's side, as I said earlier, my father was more religious than my mother and went to shul regularly. His side of the family, I felt, didn't approve of the way I was raised, and I felt as though they didn't think that I had enough discipline in Judaism. So I remember once I went to their house for a Jewish holiday. I think it must have been Yom Kippur, and I knocked on the door and I was chewing gum, and my grandfather, who was very stern, my dad's side, opened the door And yes, it was Yom Kippur because I should not have been chewing gum or eating. And he saw me chewing gum and he closed the door on me and said, please don't come in the house.
So many people say that Baltimore really, really is a small town, especially Pikesville, Park Heights, where you grew up. Do you feel like this now that you are a grown woman? Like, do you drive by certain bakeries or certain restaurants and are reminded of your childhood memories growing up here?
Absolutely. And it's really comforting that I see Goldman's Bakery or I see Black and White Cookies, and I could drive down Park Heights and see many of the same homes that have been restored, and to me, which are landmarks, some of the synagogues restored, and I remember just the foods, the Pimlico cake I could still get today, and it's a source of comfort to know that the Baltimore traditional Jewish foods and places that I grew up with are still around today.
These are a replica of the candlesticks that have been in my family for many, many generations.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom